I was just wondering, you're famous everywhere, so like, do you have
Only
fangirl
at
moments?
convention.
Do you have fangirl moments about any costumes, like particular ones? Like, what costume do you fangirl about
I
the
fangirl
most?
about costumes all the time.
Yeah.
You'll see me fangirl tomorrow at the contest. Yeah, like everywhere I go, it's just really amazing to see the creativity and see what people come up with, because it's like you never know. You never know who's going to walk in and who's going to be on stage and what costume they're going to wear, and that in itself is really exciting. And, you know, like just, I don't know, it's like I'm still a fan like anybody else, and, you know, I love great craftsmanship, I love innovation, I love seeing something that has not been done before, you know, or done very well, or uses something like really unique and different, or things outside the box, or with a lot of details. And so, yes, you will, I promise, you will see me fangirl tomorrow.
That's good.
Hi, the
Hi.
question that,
Oh, are you okay?
the question that I have is, when you did the prosthetic for Emma,
Uh-huh.
was it the first one you did, and have you ever thought of doing a collaboration with Crab Cat Studios?
I have made prosthetics before, but they were all very simple. And I mean, this one is pretty simple too. It was just more like, you know, gluing all the Swarovski crystals on. I definitely would be interested in learning more about, you know, sculpting and doing prosthetics and such. And there are certain projects I have coming up that would utilize, you know, those types of techniques. As far as Crab Cat, they are a team in themselves, so they usually have their hands full with their projects, and I think they have very different taste than I do in terms of costume choices, what they find really cool and interesting. And so it's like, it's not to say that I wouldn't collaborate with them, I just don't know if the opportunity would come up.
Thank you.
Hey,
Hey.
I've noticed you do a lot of like superhero characters. Who would you say is your favorite superhero?
My favorite male superhero is, well, I mean, like everybody's gonna be like, yeah, of course, Wolverine. But it, like from you know, well, Wolverine and Iron Man and Batman, really. So all the like, you know,
All the heavy hitters.
all the like somewhat anti-heroes. Yeah, I would say probably, yeah, Batman, Wolverine, and Iron Man. Female superheroes, Catwoman, like hands down, she's my favorite. But it's like, I feel like when I'm cosplaying superheroes, the costumes are very simple, but the characters are very complex. So it's like, I think that's very interesting. And so like one of my favorite characters is Power Girl, but she has such a simple costume. It's like, I want to wear Power Girl every time, but it's like, people can't get over the boob window. I'm just like, God, it's just a bra. But yeah, it's like, so I have to be careful when I wear the costumes, because it has to be, you know, convention appropriate, and, you know, like, so it's just, you know, you just have to sort of like keep certain things in mind. But yes, I like my superheroes.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering, after you make and wear the costumes, do you just like put it in your closet and leave it, or like how do you have the room for it?
Where does it go?
Good question. I have three closets in my house that are costumes. I only have one closet for my clothes. So I have a basement with like retired costumes that are like 10, 12 years old that I don't wear anymore, just because, you know, it's like, I just like, the craftsmanship isn't that great, or they're just like starting to wear and tear, but I still keep them for sentimental value. So they are boxed up, and they're all in garment bags boxed up. And then I have a storage unit that houses more than just my costumes, but there's still like 2 racks of costumes in there. But yeah, it's like space is always an issue. I am definitely not one to sell costumes very often. Like some people, they don't have room, so they sell their costumes and then make new ones. For me, I am way too attached to them. But also I do a lot of events, so it's always good to have a roster. It's like it's almost like choosing a wardrobe. You sort of get sick of wearing the same thing. I often get sick of wearing the same costume, so I like to switch things up. So something I haven't worn in 2 years, I might like decide to pull out for a convention next month. You know, you never know, and it's good to have options.
Thank you.
The Yaya's House episode of Hoarders would be the best episode.
You know what? I am a cosplay hoarder. I've called myself a cosplay hoarder before.
I would watch that multiple times.
Yeah, I'm a materials hoarder. I hoard fabrics and notions and zippers and snaps because like you never know. It's like
never know.
You never know. Like I made this whole costume with materials I had at home. So even the crystals were like for a different costume that I ended up not using and had for a few
I'll
months.
let my mom know that her like 2 rooms full of fabric are totally legit.
Yeah, I end up, it's like if you use it, even if it's like 4 years later, then, you know, it's not a waste.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hi.
Your costumes are always so nice and beautiful,
Thank
and your
you.
hair, the wigs are great too, but I'm assuming you do your own makeup?
I do, yeah.
Because that always looks fantastic. And I
Thank
was just
you.
wondering if you took a course in that, or is just something you picked up, like the sewing?
Everything I do basically has been self-taught, and part of me does wish that I would have been able to take courses in certain things, like, you know, years ago. If I could have taken a course on pattern draping and drafting, that would have been really helpful. But, you know, everything I know is just from doing something, realizing it doesn't look good, and changing it.
So just
You
trial
know.
and error?
Absolutely, trial and error. You know, there's also like, I mean, lots of makeup tutorials out there. Makeup tutorials are like their own culture, so you can very easily find, you know, lots of fantastic tutorials on how not to do, I mean, how not only to do makeup in general, but do character-specific makeup. So it's really easy to go on YouTube and find
Movie
all of
internet.
that. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi again.
Hi.
I actually have a friend who couldn't be here today, and you'll be happy to know he's working on the new Batman movie.
Cool.
and
Very cool.
so I was wondering if you could say hi to him for me.
Oh.
Here, his name is Richard.
Hi, Richard. It's Yaya. Wish you were here, but you're too busy working on Batman. So hope you have fun, and hope that we can meet next time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
One more question.
Sure.
You said that like when you were younger, you were really into art and drawing was a huge part of your life. I've seen on Instagram some of your like costume concept art, but do you still draw on a regular basis?
I sadly don't. It's literally like my big regret in life. Is like I got so caught up with cosplay, and not just cosplay. There were years where, you know, I was struggling trying to start my own business. There were, you know, many years where like life was just so, you know, life took precedent over hobbies, and the only hobby that I could have time for was cosplay. So it was like I had to sort of make a choice. And for me, I feel very creatively fulfilled through cosplay. So art sort of did take a back burner, and now it's been so long since I've really, you know, been in it that, you know, I feel like my skill level has dwindled, and it is it's a huge regret of mine, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to pick it up, but, you know, it's like I cherished that time in my life where that was like everything I did was art and doodling and painting and drawing, and I don't know. It's
Well, now
just-
you get to be art. It's amazing.
it's also art, just in a different way. So it's like as long as you're being creative and doing something that makes you happy, I think it's okay.
I love you. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering if you could just comment on your experience with like Axon and like other videographers.
Oh my gosh, Axon revolutionized, he just pushed the envelope and really put us into, you know, almost like a new era. And I'm just very grateful that people like him came along to sort of not just stop at still photography, like to show, like to find other ways to showcase cosplay, you know. And it's always a joy. It's always hectic like crazy, but it's always a joy to work with them and really to see them develop, because like at the beginning it's just like, okay, walk forward and like look pretty, and now it's like they're telling stories, they're like trying to actually capture certain scenes, and so it's like you have to like rehearse a little bit, or with Axon, he'll be like, all right, so what costume are you bringing, and then we'll actually talk about it beforehand and plan something. That's how the Carmilla video shoot happened, because like I didn't want to bring Carmilla. It takes like 3 hours to get into it, but Axon was like, I want to film it, and I'm like, sure. And then of course the videos were amazing, and so I'm just like so glad I did that. But yeah, it's like they're very, like the community of videographers is really unique and really supportive, like so much more than photographers, and I don't understand why. Like, it's the same thing. You're taking video or photos of cosplayers, but photographers, there's rivalries, there's like, certain incidences where it's like, well, she promised to shoot with me first. Well, I'm supposed to shoot here. Well, you're stealing my shot because you're shooting, the way that I set it up. But then with videographers, they're just like, all right, like here, I'm gonna make sure that the traffic is clear so you can shoot, and then I'm gonna shoot this, and then you're gonna shoot that. They compare shots, and it's just like they share each other's videos, and it's just such a great community. And I definitely, hope to continue working with all of them. So.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Hi again.
Hey.
Am I allowed to move this down or
Yes,
something?
of course.
Oh, there we go. Sometimes I have struggles finding wigs, or good sites to buy wigs. Where do you buy your wigs?
I used to be a eBay shopper, and I do recommend eBay because you have the most selection there, because you're not just limited to one factory making the wigs, because each wig company, they have one factory that they deal with, so all their wigs are going to have very similar structures and similar fibers. But if you go on eBay, you have the advantage of getting human hair wigs or getting lace fronts, getting just all kinds of different ones. So, but then in the recent couple of years, I have been very fortunate to work with a few wig companies, and so like my favorites really are Arda Wigs. They are a company made by cosplayers for cosplayers. So it's like they understand what cosplayers' needs are. And Epic Cosplay, as well as like Gothic Lolita Cosplay, they're also really great. Actually, AnimeStuffStores.com, they actually have really great wigs that I've used a couple times, and I might actually be starting to carry some of their wigs in my store, certain favorites of mine that I would, have used and would recommend to others. So hopefully I'll be able to continue like, showcasing and promoting like the companies actually make really good, useful wigs,
Oh, and one more question. What wigs do you like better? Fake hair, real hair?
It really depends. I feel like it's about the fiber. And I don't think that human hair wigs are a necessity just because they are very, very expensive, and sometimes they only come in, certain colors. So I think it's totally fine to use plastic fibers, but there are different kinds, and you can actually go online and you can research them, what the best fibers are, like Kanekalon or Toyakalon and such. So yeah, do your research.
Thank you.
Hal-Con!